I first came across the company in 1970 when Beryl Gray, who was newly the director, had taken over. And I think from that moment, the company changed its look and its character. When Beryl came in, it came with a new discipline and a new repertoire. She instilled some of that sort of purity of style. In those days, the rehearsal studios were a room at the Donmar Theatre and a small room somewhere in Victoria, and those poor dancers were rushing from one to another to another. And Beryl finally got Markova House. They had their own home, which was such a gift to them, and it put the whole thing on a steadier level. I was asked to do Coppelia, which is still here 35 years later. Coppelia means a great deal to me because as a young boy, even before I was a dance student, I went to see Coppelia. But then the idea of doing a new one, I thought, this is wonderful, I would love to do it. All those wonderful dances in Act One, or the classical, just a perfect ballet with naturally a perfect score. And I thought I would really love to take this opportunity and bring out little characterizations to make it as real as possible and yet keep Coppelia as Coppelia. And it seemed to work. We had a wonderful first cast. Eva Evdokimova as Swanhilda. We had Peter Schaufers as Franz, and Niels Bjorn Larsen, that magnificent, glorious character artist from the Royal Danish Ballet. And then we've had numerous Swanhildas, Frances, and Coppelia. Yeah. Coppelia will always survive. You've got this wonderful score, and there's no prince, there's no princess, there are no fairies, they're not fantasy folk. And, you know, Franz is not a prince. He's quite a rough, carefree, slightly lecherous boy. Well, that's interesting, that's different. Swanhilda, she shows great love, but also a feisty temperament too. I always personally want to see people on the stage. And the dancers seem to be happy to meet other people, to change their persona. You know, I just like people to add a little something of themselves to it, and that makes it live and real. And my ballets are always about people. If that comes across, I'm happy. The dancers make the company, and from that it goes on. There was always good vigour about the company. They were always giving out to the audience, and I think that's why they were always, and always have been, very popular. I've been continuously with the company since '70, so that's 50 years. And they've had many directors since Beryl in between, and they all increased the repertoire, the stature of the company. English National Ballet will always continue.